Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome back to Small Talks. Just a quick market update. What's going on as of Monday? What update took place on the weekends as far as the tariffs are concerned? What's going on with the Mega 7, particularly Tesla, and my favorite digital asset, Bitcoin. So let's begin. Nothing took place over the weekend. I was waiting for news to come that Donald Trump is negotiating tariff deals with other countries, but turned out that he was playing golf through the whole entire weekend, and there were no negotiation news that came out, which was kind of disappointing. At that point, this morning when I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, the entire market was red. Everything was collapsing. I was like, nothing exciting in the market. Let me just go back to sleep and maybe just take a day off from work today. And I went back to sleep after praying my Fajr. And I woke up around 9:45ish and I turned on my computer and I saw the market was turning green, and suddenly Tesla jumped from $215 to almost $250 within a span of few minutes, like about 30 minutes. And I was like, what's going on? So I started looking for news. I couldn't find the news for a while, and then after an hour or so I saw the news that said that there may be 90 days pause on tariffs on all countries except for China. And I guess that's why market had turned bullish. Later on, an hour later, after everything was just going skyrocketing, after an hour later, news came. Donald Trump denied and he called it fake news. It was obviously a misunderstanding and miscommunication. One of the White House representative was being interviewed, and then I guess the headline, people read it and they kind of confused themselves with 90-day tariff. It was news about something else, and that's what this whole bear market rally was, which faded away pretty quickly. The other thing that shows me that it just tells you that how much people are ready and done with this tariff drama. As if they're just waiting, or they can't wait to get back into the market right after this tariff drama has ended. With Donald Trump and his tariff deals and all the tariffs that he's imposing, it is going to cause a huge economic crisis in the US, not only in the US, but across the world economy in general. I have always been of the opinion, and rightfully so, I have so many evidence that we have already lived through recession. But with this tariff deals that Donald Trump is announcing, or the tariff that he's imposing, there's no deal yet. They are causing a very high inflation, and it's going to push us into recession. Most of the analysts at the market are of the opinion that we are going to hit recession much sooner than expected. The other thing that I'm worried about is Tesla, because China is one of the large addressable market internationally for Tesla, and a lot of our manufacturing takes place in China. Not only just Tesla, but in general, most of the U.S. Consumer products are being produced in China. And with Donald Trump imposing 34% tariff, and then China coming back and doing retaliatory tariffs on top of that, and then Donald Trump is threatening that he's going to impose another 50% of their tariff that they're imposing on the US as of tomorrow. I think it will start at midnight. This tug of war is going to keep going, and doesn't look like China is willing to bend the knees, because I guess China does realize the US economy depends a lot more on China than China's economy depends on the US. Because most of our consumer products, as I mentioned earlier, are being produced in China, and it's going to take us maybe the next 5 years before we can start the production in the US, and that's going to cause a loss of supply chain problems that we saw during COVID, actually even worse. Not to mention that with all the immigration restrictions that Donald Trump is imposing, we also have problem with the loss of the labor work that is being done. It's been done by the foreign workers. The U.S. Individuals or the U.S. public doesn't like to do certain jobs which foreigners are here who cover those, and they are the reason why lots of things are being manufactured and produced in USA. That's also going to cause a supply chain problem in the US. Ultimately, that's going to increase the prices of the commodity, and that is going to cause huge inflation, which means the federal chairman, Jerome Powell, is probably not going to cut any rate. Right now, the stock market is pricing in at least 3 rate cuts by the end of the year, 2 rate cuts between mid-year to September, and then 1 rate cut, from October to December. But if this drama continues, it's going to have no rate cut, period, which is going to cause recession, and that's going to make everything more expensive, which is going to make the housing market collapse because the mortgages are going to be much more expensive. It's going to affect real estate. It's going to affect everyday consumer, the groceries, the eggs. We've seen it all. It's going to get worse, and there's going to be no easy landing, or whatever the term they use, soft landing rather. It's not going to be any soft landing. Maybe 5, 10, 20 years from now, we'll reap the benefit of these tariffs, but as of right now, it's going to deeply affect the economy of the United States and the stock market in general. We may hit recession. I have my fingers crossed that we don't. Hopefully Donald Trump will understand, and he will not push this country into recession if he's smart. The other thing that I want to say, he was hoping that people will come down and bend their knees and they will start negotiating. I know he had direct talks with Iran, which was a surprise to me, because with Donald Trump being so directly involved with Iran, it's kind of almost impossible. They also had, they were also planning on having a meeting with China, but then news came that that meeting had been canceled. Maybe there are a few phone calls taking place in the background, but no meeting is going to be taking place with Donald Trump with China right now, because that is because China is not going to bend their knees anytime soon. The other thing that I know that Israel came forward. Most of the trades, about 98% of the trades, are free trade with Israel, except for 2%. And Israel collects about $11 million from those commodities, which is mainly, I believe, the agricultural products the U.S. imports from Israel. And they charge 2% tariffs on that, and they collect $11 million. So with Israel coming forward saying that we are willing to open the doors and have free trades, they're just giving away $11 million. And as a result, Trump is going to use his sales tactics to tell the world, look, Israel coming forward and they're negotiating with me. Maybe it's time for you guys to negotiate, because he's a businessman. He runs in this country like his business. And the problem is, Donald Trump is playing games and Israel is also playing games. The reason why Israel coming forward to waive that $11 million worth of tariff, the 2% products that they charge tariffs on, is they're going to give away that $11 million in revenue, because since 2023, the U.S. government has sent them a little over $3.5 billion with the B billion dollars in military aid alone. So if they're going to charge that $11 million to US, they will have to get rid of that, billions of dollars in military aid the US has been providing them. And they're actually playing it very smartly. They don't mind to give that away in order for US to be their best allies. And in the Muslim world, it's very famous that Israel is the illegitimate child of the US. So that kind of proves it. And Trump, on the other hand, is also playing the gimmick of a salesman, of a good, smart businessman, by advertising, oh, look, Israel came forward and they're willing to negotiate the deal, because he knows this deal on the table is a sucky deal. It's like all bull crap. But he's doing this to pump other countries that you should come forward and close the deals as well. I'm going to give an example. I worked at the bank. My job was to sell the products and services of the banking industry, and I was very good at sales. And they taught us all these sales tactics in our trainings. So we had to sell and cross-sell the products and services of the banks to our existing clients and to new clients, or future expected clients. And we always used to come up with these stories like, oh, this thing comes with it. You just have to sign and say yes, because legally I have to have your agreement, but it's part of the package. But it wasn't part of the package. That's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. He has the suckiest deal on the table. Israel giving away their 2% of the product's tariff is all bullcrap. They know if they don't do it, they're going to lose all those billions of dollars in military aid that they receive from the US. And they're strong because of the US backing. Otherwise, Israel is a small country. They can't fight these wars that they're fighting across the globe with everybody, and nobody is pointing their fingers at them or nobody is saying anything to them, is because of the US, and they're taking advantage of the situation. And Donald Trump is using their small portion of tariffs to kind of advertise his success in making countries come forward and make a deal with him. And they're both playing games with not only the US public, the taxpayers, but also to the countries across the globe. Now, as far as Iran is concerned, I know they came forward and I think they said, if there's a good deal, can we have free trade and good deal and you'll waive the tariffs? And Donald Trump replied that we could have a great deal and keep the tariffs at the same time, which is very unpractical, because if he does that, it's going to not only add more prices to the commodities, the goods and services, but also it's going to make production much harder, particularly the manufacturing of cars and vehicles, because most of our manufacturing takes place in other countries, and that is going to have the prices of the motor vehicles go up, Tesla in particular, which is going to cause lots of harms to all these large companies. Similarly with Apple, Apple is also going to suffer, because I just read a news that if they close the production in China and they start producing Apple products in the US, one Apple iPhone is going to cost us over $3,500 compared to $1,200-$1,300 that we pay now, which not that many consumers are going to be able to afford, because with all the prices going up, there's going to be economic crash and we may hit recession, because it's collapsing the stock market. Excuse me. We this morning when the stock market went up on the rumor that there may be 90 days pause on tariffs, within an hour S&P 500 lost $2 trillion just like that, because it was a fake news. So the market is being wiped off. All these bear market rallies are going to fade away very soon, and people are going to lose lots of money. Everybody is waiting to hope that this is maybe buy the dip opportunity, but nobody is 100% sure if it's the right time to buy the dip or they should wait further. Me personally, that's why we do dollar cost average, nibble on a little bit. So if it goes up, at least you got some, but if it goes down, you have still some dry powder on the side, so you can average down. So that's what I've been doing since Friday. I've been buying small amounts of shares of the companies that I wanted to buy, but not a whole lot, and I still have some dry powder on the side. So if it keeps going down even more, I'll just keep dollar cost averaging my positions. Now let's talk about Tesla. This morning when I wake up, the first news I saw was that the largest bull of tech, particularly Apple and Tesla, Wedbush Dan Ives, has slashed the price target for Tesla by 40%, which just kind of blew my mind, because I was not expecting this from him. He has been Tesla bull for so many years, and he has been Apple bull for so many years. So he slashed his Tesla price from I think $550 to $315, which was a disappointment. And he also said in the long term we still stay bullish, which I agree with him, but he said in the short term, with Doge, with this tariff drama, with China problem, Tesla is going to suffer hugely, and that's why the price target has to be reduced, because there are not that many investors who are willing to invest in Tesla right now in the given situation, unless they announce something huge, which I'm hoping that they will announce their Model Y, their FSD in Austin, Texas very soon, and their new under $30,000 vehicle. That's going to give Tesla a boost, and maybe then at that point, all these stock market analysts who were bullish in the past will raise their price target, which that's what they usually do. And that's why I don't trust their price rating anyway, because they keep changing their prices. I mean, even I can do it. I'm not a market analyst. Even I could, when things are better, I can raise the price, and when things are bad, I can lower the price. That's very common, but that doesn't, mean anything. But it does mean to lots of people, because when he speaks, people listen. And because he has been a bull, and if the largest bull turns bear, it kind of concerns the market. Same thing with Apple. He has lowered his price target on Apple as well. I don't remember exactly how much he lowered it by, but significantly he slashed the Apple price target as well. And the reason being, again, most of the Apple chips are manufactured in China. which is going to affect the Apple iPhone production. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was Bitcoin. On Liberation Day and before and after Liberation Day, when market was crashing, Bitcoin was pretty stable. And the reason why, because MicroStrategy has been buying Bitcoin on the Liberation Day and before Liberation Day, which kind of gave it a little floor for the Bitcoin not to fall too low. And that's why it was pretty stable. This morning, however, Bitcoin did drop pretty significantly. It went from, I think, $85,000 to $72,000 or $73,000, which was pretty low. And if you watch my videos regularly, I've had a feeling that Bitcoin could hit mid $65,000 to $60,000 range. And if that happens, I have money sitting on the sideline. I will buy at least one Bitcoin, if not more. And I'm actually waiting for it to happen. Sure, it's a good thing for me because I want it to drop. But on the other hand, it's not a very good sign, because even with MicroStrategy buying so many Bitcoins, it's still causing the crash in the market, which means the retailers are probably getting out. Some of the hedge funds who were nibbling onto Bitcoin after recent announcements by Donald Trump, they're probably getting rid of this asset because they're not 100% sure if it's safe during recessionary time. Most people are going to turn towards gold because that has been proven in the past for decades and centuries and millennials that that's an asset which never goes down in value. Sure, the prices of gold drops as well if the economy hits recession, but it still significantly stays higher compared to the other assets in the stock market. And that's probably why Bitcoin dropped so much. But then it kind of caught back up a little bit more. But I think if this drama continues, Bitcoin is going to collapse even more. And I think Tesla is going to go down even more. I had mentioned before, if it goes below $200, I'm definitely adding more to my Tesla position. But as of right now, I don't think I'm going to add more to my Tesla position. Palantir and Nvidia, my God, they dropped so much. Nvidia was, I think, $62 this morning. As I said, I went back to sleep, and when I woke up again, it hit 62, but then it went back up to like $78, I believe it was. So I couldn't buy it, but it's okay. I don't want to buy it yet because I have a feeling Palantir will drop more because it ran so much in the past year that actually in the past 6 months, in fact, that it's gonna go down. And with this tariff drama, I think it's gonna go down significantly. So I'm waiting for it to drop enough, at least under 20%, in order for me to start my position with Palantir. It's a good company. I want to have a position with Palantir, but not right now. Same thing with Nvidia. I am going to have a very large position in Nvidia, but I'm waiting for it to drop as well. I know it has dropped significantly. It has gone down a lot, at least I think 40% drop, or actually 60% so far from the all-time high. But I think it has potential to go down another 20%. If it does happen, I will definitely buy Nvidia as well. I don't hold any Palantir or Nvidia in my portfolio right now, but I'm actually waiting for them to go down so I can buy and start position in my portfolio. What to expect going forward? I have a feeling that Donald Trump, he's playing his tactics. He is going to have deals with most of the countries. I know European Union came forward, and I think they're willing to negotiate to have their tariffs reduced, and then I think they're willing to work with Donald Trump as well. So most of the countries are going to at least have some type of negotiation deals with Donald Trump, except for China. I think China is stubborn, and Donald Trump is obviously he's notorious. He has a habit of breaking people and countries, but at this point, it's going to be a very tough trade war between China and the US. And until China problem gets fixed, our tech is going to suffer. So going forward, I think maybe not this week. As I said in my last video, it's going to be few weeks of back and forth, tit for tat tariffs, and then eventually people will come to common terms. People will start to negotiate. Donald Trump will start to negotiate. I'm sure there are phone calls taking place in the background, but they don't tell us everything. Funny that Elon Musk has been very quiet on tariff issue, except he, I guess, asked someone else to speak on his behalf, which tells me that he's not happy with the tariff because his company is suffering the most because of all this tariff, and particularly with the tariff imposing on China. Obviously is going to suffer, make the Tesla stock suffer quite a bit, and his company is already suffering because of this nonsense. So he obviously does not agree with him, but there's nothing that he can do. And as I mentioned in my last video, that his welcome at White House has been overstayed, and it's time for him to wrap up his tent and leave, and maybe that's what he would do. His 100-day special government employee days will be over, and towards the end of June or beginning of July, he will have to leave White House. That'll be a good signal for Tesla as a company, because people are looking forward to Elon Musk to coming back to give his full attention to Tesla as a company, and eventually that's going to affect Tesla stock. So I'm sitting and waiting for the stock market to settle down a little bit before I start buying heavily into the stock market. I'm definitely nibbling into some of the stocks which I had bought at very high price, and the price looks pretty juicy to me, but I'm not buying a whole lot, just small amounts, so I can at least average down a little bit in case tomorrow they announce, okay, we have tariff deals, and suddenly market just goes up as it went up this morning quite a bit. But I think it's going to take a couple weeks. Eventually things will settle down. People will come forward, countries will come forward, they'll negotiate the deals, and stock market will start stabilizing at that point. Hopefully it happens before we hit recession. One of the stock market analysts was saying that maybe we are already in recession, but we just don't feel it right now. That could be true, that we may be in recession already, but I have my fingers crossed, because recession is bad. It affects people. People lose their jobs, companies lose their revenue, and that's not good for the economy, not only the economy of the US, but the economy of the entire globe in general. So what am I doing going forward? I'm just waiting, to be honest. I want to buy Bitcoin. I'm waiting for it to drop at least 65K, if not lower. I am waiting for Nvidia and Palantir to drop another 20%, 15 to 20% roughly, before I start my position. I will not buy any more Tesla, because my largest position is Tesla in my portfolio, but I will buy if it goes below $200. But if it doesn't go below 200, I'm happy with my position as is. Uber is also a very good stock to buy into, but again, if you have the money, I would just wait and not buy anything right now, because the things are very uncertain, and if God forbid we do hit recession, it's going to crash market even more. So that's my perspective. I hope you like this video. Please give my video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, give me your input and your ideas. I would appreciate it. Please be careful. Don't put the money in the market that you're not willing to lose. It's a very risky business. Be smart, be wise, and stay safe. Until next video, take care.